Nimble with numbers here, Scott Simpson. Welcome to All Hallows Eve, my friends. I am honored today to be joined with the perfect Halloween guest, making his first public appearance. I love it. We have a ghost in our presence. We have Space Ghost Force himself from Twitter, from the AMA in the Discord channel. I love all the work he is doing. He's come on to the DFS Money Shot to take my money, just like Mike did, just like Bo did, just like Anthony did. You know, these guys, they need some money. They come to Scott. I'm willing to give. Welcome to the show, my friend. So excited to have you.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. First time, long time listener, first time caller.
I love that. So what I have up here on my screen share is your Twitter handle, the Space Ghost Force itself. Tell people a little bit about where they can find you and what you're doing right now in the FF community.
So right now, I currently run with a great staff, a Discord server. Discord's a chat platform. It's a lot better than Reddit when it comes to fantasy football because you get on-the-spot responses to all the questions, or if you want to chat about anything, we've got channels for everything. Whether it be who do you like the rest of the season, to who do you stream for kicker this week, all the way to is Miles Sanders going to be finishing actually over CMC as RB? I mean, we never saw it coming, but at this point, maybe so. Yeah, crazy things going on over at the Discord. Got a lot of things happening. Weekly Ask Me Anythings with expert guests, including, of course, yourself. And we got a lot of cool things lined up. Lots of giveaways every week, lots of contests every week. If you love to talk fantasy football, it's a place to be. So, and I would be remiss if I didn't shout out some of our brother Discords. The FTA chat is also, we run really closely together. They run tournaments over there. They've got really knowledgeable individuals, and you can find them. Our handle is discord.gg/fantasyfootball. You can find theirs at discord.gg/fantasy-football. So wanted to make sure that they got shout out as well for this.
No, I love that. And I have up on my screen the way to get there. If you go from the Space Ghosts is Twitter handle, you go right there. There's a link. You can accept the invite and jump into the community. It's so simple. It's a click away. So please do check that out. Thanks for checking us out today. You are listening to or watching the DFS Money Shot. This is a head-to-head podcast that I do each week. I bring on a member of the fantasy football community. We go head-to-head in DraftKings for either $10, $20, $50, $100. We're going for 20 today. We haven't gotten up to 100. I had 50 with Anthony Servino, and I had 50 with Michael Hoff, and then we ran it back for a triple up, and that was a $135 contest. But we're just going 20, which is nice. I feel like, there's not as much pressure. We can be a little freer in our lineups. And the way it works is I've submitted a lineup. So has the Ghost. And we're going to go line by line, and we're going to reveal and kind of talk about our guys. Last week, sadly, I did lose. I lost again 2 weeks in a row. Michael Reedy beat me down 171 to 157. It wasn't pretty. I need to rally. I need this. So, Space Ghost, you have a streak to live up to. I've lost 2 in a row. You're going for 3 for the turkey in bowling. Let's see where we started off here at quarterback. I'm going to reveal each pick as we go down, and then we're going to kind of talk it up. Mr. Jimmy G. Talk about Mr. Jimmy G. Why is he your QB in this matchup this week?
Jimmy G, sorry about that. Internet issues for a second. Jimmy G, loved the matchup. I know it's a bit risky playing cash lineup, head-to-head with you. More of a GPP play is what I've been told by a lot of my Discordians. But the Seahawks, they're ranked 31st against the passing. And they're going to have to keep up with Russell Wilson this week. Figured to be a high-scoring game. I'm pretty sure that it is if not the highest implied total, it's one of the highest. Have to look that up for you, but you know, it's also a little bit of bias. I got Jimmy G on my fishbowl team, and he's been treating me really well. I like him against the Seahawks. I think they're going to be throwing it a lot, and with the way their receivers have been playing recently, including Kittle, of course, have full confidence that Jimmy G will be able to give me solid points in this matchup.
Yeah, no, actually, I really like the play. If we're looking at the lines, San Francisco, Seattle at 53 is the biggest line. You're exactly correct in that. You nailed that. That game is going to shoot out just because Seattle's defense is not efficient in stopping the pass. They're okay against the run, the middle of the pack, but this game is going to have to go back and forth. The Seahawks are down almost all of their running backs. So the word was today that Travis Homer is going to be able, I think, to play as their third down back. I'm not sure if DJ Dallas is going to be the main guy. I'm not sure what's going to happen. They haven't actually officially, at least when I checked before this, Carson wasn't officially ruled out. Maybe he is by now, but I'm expecting probably DJ Dallas to play in this game. I don't think you're going to hand the ball off to the rookie 20 times. That's just not really kind of see this game working out. I think there's going to be a lot of passing. Russell Wilson has shown that he is elite. And I know San Francisco is a good pass defense. They've got some injuries in the secondary. Sherman's out for the year, things like that. So, I really do think that there are opportunities. We lost the Ghost, man. He like floats back and forth. That's what's the cool thing about the Ghost. I think there are some opportunities for Jimmy G. On my side of the ball, I had to go with a stud. I had to go with a stud. Studs are what I think win GPPs, and then they also win head-to-head matchups. And so I had to go a little studlier here. I originally had Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes we switch up our plays, and I went with Aaron Rodgers, and I stacked him with Devontae Adams, and I went, you know what? I like that play, but just Josh Allen gives so much upside. He is one of the top scoring quarterbacks every single week. What I have right now is a DraftKings tool that I've created over at nimblewnumbers.com, and it just has everybody's points for all year. I've set it up so that you can look at the weekly values and you can look at the total for the year. So if we sort it by total, we find Josh Allen is the third, best scoring quarterback. He's had weeks of 33, 37, 36. He's had some down weeks, and so he's been priced down. So I think this week he does bounce back. I think he gets a rushing touchdown. And then our guy Stephen Gilmore was just declared out. That secondary is depleted, and I think Stephon Diggs is a great play as well this week. Any thoughts on Josh Allen? I saw you nodding your head over there. Anything you want to share?
Wow, my internet stinks.
He's like, damn it, you got Josh Allen on your team. It's over. It's over, Johnny.
It's killing me right now. I feel like such a disappointment to you.
No, you know what? I think you're not disappointed at all. This is the thing about fantasy football. Value changes play by play. So, I've got a big upside play, but you know what? You have volume, and you've got a discounted price too. You saved $1,600 that you are going to be able to use later on. And let's see if our next pick, is able to reap the benefits or not. Oh, look at us. We are Kareem hunting it here at 6,900. Not a bad play, a popular play, obviously. Talk about Kareem Hunt this week.
I'm sorry, you're waiting on my opinion on Kareem Hunt here?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I was drinking a beer.
Okay, gotcha.
What are you drinking?
With you.
What do you got there? What are you drinking, by the way?
Energy drink. Pharmacy wore me out today, so had to do the energy drink. Keep up with you. I know you brought the energy, so I wanted to be sure I did the same. Kareem Hunt, though, obviously, cash lineup, chalk. It seemed you won't find much more in terms of consistency, especially with him not being like the most ridiculously priced running back, which I feel like he definitely deserves a boost in price.
Yes.
I was glad to see Lamar Jackson fall back a couple tiers in price. That seemed to be enticing for quarterbacks looking back on that. But Kareem Hunt, the Raiders team, average at best against the run. Average at best. And I mean, it's been there. The points have been there week after week after week. I'm not gonna, fix what's not broken. So,
Right.
that's where I'm at with him.
No, I love it. And Kareem Hunt, he's getting all of the important touches that you want. He's getting the red zone touches, those green zone inside the 10. He's getting targeted in the end zone. He's got 2 receptions for touchdowns this year. So I think we're both looking at, an underpriced value here. I think we thought he was going to smash last week. He didn't go off as much. He got that touchdown at the end that it was good. But I think this is probably one of the best point per value plays on the slate. And so I think it's great that we both have it. It also sets it up so that there's a little bit of a similarity. So I like that. Not terrible. Let's check out our RB2. Oh, same division, different RB. I went with Josh Jacobs in a matchup against the Cleveland D. You went with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let me share real quick my thought process. The wind is going to be sideways. It's going to be blowing all over the field. It's going to be a brutal game for quarterbacks. And so, you're dealing with 2 above average offensive lines. Well, maybe not the Raiders anymore, but you have at least Cleveland has an advantage in the offensive line to defensive line. They're going to be able to run the ball with Kareem Hunt a lot, and they're not going to be able to pass the ball downfield. Odell Beckham is hurt. They're going to be focusing on those short intermediate routes with winds swirling in the 20s to 30s to 40s. So I just see this game on the ground, a lot of ground and pound, old school Gruden, cold football. That's kind of the vision I see, where you get 2 RBs who could both get 20, 25 touches on the ground. And both of them might see a little bit of action in the air, more so Kareem Hunt, of course, which we both have, than Josh Jacobs. Not a big PPR guy yet. Talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This is going to be a smash spot. They're favored by almost 20 points. I've seen 19.5. I've seen 20. This game's going to be out of control. What do you see in Clyde this week that you've got him in your spot?
Well, you're correct. We're currently sitting at 19.5 by what's it called? FanDuel Sportsbook, if I'm looking at it correctly. And really, the biggest risk I'm running here, and I agree it's a giant risk, is the idea that this is going to be the Lev Bell revenge game. And with that 19.5 point favorite, they're going to be running it a ton. And it's whether Andy Reid decides that he's going to be a nice guy and say, hey, Bell, I'm going to give you the ball and you can run all over your old team and make fools of themselves. Or, just keep doing what they've been doing. I think that it's going to be a little bit of a split of both. I think that Bell is obviously working himself into the workload, regardless of whether it's a revenge game or not. But these 19.5 points don't all necessarily, those favorited points, I mean, who's to say all of those are going straight to the wide receivers? I mean, last week we saw him go off, or maybe it was the week before. I mean, they're all bleeding in at this point. But, and on top of that, every time I play CEH, every time I don't play CEH, he goes off, but every time I play him, he busts. I think it's time to flip that. So, I looked at it, recency bias mostly, I would say drove that factor, but also it was what's it called? A salary factor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you can get the depressed value, I think that, people think that Lev Bell's going to be the main guy coming back against his team. That's not really how the NFL works. And that's how, Texas Walker Ranger, shows work where you're like, he's a bad guy. No, he's a good guy. Now it's good again. It's just that's just not how life works. There's schemes involved. There's money. There's first round picks. Clyde's a guy to have, and so I definitely like that. I could see him getting 2 touchdowns on the ground and kind of just screwing me over. So I love that pick. I'm not going to throw any shade at it. And at a depressed price, I do have a little sad story. In week 2, I had Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the lineup that won me $5,000. He only got 13 points. If I would have picked anybody else, pretty much in that price tier, I would have won the 10G. So I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. He did some great plays down the stretch to get me out of 1G to 3G to 4G to 5G. So I'm grateful for him. But I think you're right. There is that untapped potential that we see, and it's hit or miss each week. So this could be the week that it hits, and it could be a sneaky play in this matchup. I like it. No shade from Scott over here. Let's take a look at the next tier. We're going to go wide receiver ones. Ooh, you have somebody who is oh my goodness. Davante Adams. Talk about Davante Adams. And then I'm going to talk about him too. So go ahead.
I paid up for him. Paid up for him big time. Typically, I'm big on paying up on the running back position and then throwing darts in the wide receiver, tight end. Typically, I like to favor the more reliable tight ends. But with Adams, it's hard to get much more consistent this year. I know he's had a bit of injury concerns. I don't know. There's no Aaron Jones. There's no Aaron Lazard. Bad Minnesota defense. We've already seen him torch them week 1 for one thing. So we've seen this game once already. I considered buying down on MVS and trying to fit in something different, but Adams just seemed like such chalk, and I know in cash, not so much a big deal, but it just was. It was a pick I couldn't pass up on. It's there. They're playing a terrible defense. It's one of the best wide receivers in the league. If he doesn't go off, then I'm not going to be upset, rather than if I played a lesser wide receiver that got me no points. And you know what I mean? It's a no-brainer, like you said.
Yeah, and I got to say, I did have my first stack included him with Aaron Rodgers, and I paid up for both of them. And so I totally understand what you were doing, and I pivoted. Obviously, I'm going to, stack my guy. I've got a stack here with Diggs and Allen. But I think those are the 2 best stacks for me this week. If you want to know what the 2 best stacks are in cash, maybe even in GPPs, it could be you're paying up in those GPPs, but no one else has them because they don't want to pay up, and that gives you a little bit of leverage over people. I love Davante Adams this week. I have him on my big money 6-1 team, and he's killing it for me. I lost one time this year, and it was when I scored 192 points, and my friend scored 210. So you can't, or 207, or you can't. I am killing it with my squad. So I love that play, and I love that you have stud after that Jimmy G. You can see where you used your money very wisely. On my side, I had to go Diggs. If you're going to have Josh Allen, you can either play him naked, or you can play him with Diggs. In that time that I won my 5Gs, I had Josh Allen paired up with Diggs, and he was fire. So not that it's going to happen again, but I do trust that matchup. They paid him money. They brought him in. They're targeting him, all the time. That Jets game last week, that was a down game. That was a game where you're like, we got to play the stupid Jets. We're going to crush them. And then you get into the matchup, and you're like, these guys are actually here to play. Shit. And so I think when you go up against New England, you're already ready to play. Like we're going against Belichick. You're bringing your ace game, and they didn't have Stephon Diggs last year. They didn't have him several years, and they've always played the Patriots tough. They just have. They're the other team in the division who gives them a little bit of a fit. I mean, Miami gives them a fit too, especially in the beginning of the season. So
what I do have a question about, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might be looking at past posts that we have in the Discord, but it's showing me that New England is yet to allow a 300-yard passing game, and they haven't allowed a touchdown in the last 2 weeks while nabbing 4 interceptions. In 3 of the last 5 games, Diggs has been held between 45 and 50 receiving yards. So you think this is going to be one of his big boom games?
I didn't think that until Stephen Gilmore went out, and when that happened today, it's such a when you have a defensive player of the year. I mean, he's been hurt. He hasn't been playing up to his standard. You saw DK Metcalf give him the business. I mean, literally get in his face and then go for a touchdown over him and just shake him off. You could see Stephen Gilmore. That didn't happen to him. I mean, I know it's DK Metcalf and he can chase down Buda Baker and you, me, and your mom and anybody, but that's just not. Stephen Gilmore's nasty. That's what he is. He's an in-your-face, nasty player. And taking him out, maybe they will come up. And I do think they'll play better than last week. Cam was just horrific. So I think Cam bounces back. I think he's a bounce-back candidate. My guy Bo McBigtime has pointed that out, and I agree with him. But I have a feeling that this game is going to get – the Buffalo Bills don't stop. They just don't – they keep going. And then sometimes they're not successful. But I think this week they're going to go a little bit hard against Bill Belichick. And I don't think that they're going to be able to air out, a lot. It's going to be windy up there. It's going to be a kind of a wind-impacted game. But, Josh Allen is Hercules, man. That guy is the Black Panther Hercules. He's everybody. He can throw the ball through whatever. And so it's a bit of a GPP play too. You talked about doing a little bit of a risk. I think I did a little bit of a risk play as well. I was shooting for the moon in this stack. Not going to lie to you. It's probably not the tightest cash game stack, but we'll see. We'll see.
But like if that stack goes off, you will be in a good spot. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, let's see if you have oh man. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to reveal the next 2 wide receivers because I have Keenan Allen as well. And so I'll let you talk about Keenan Allen, and then we'll talk about your stack with Ayuk and Garoppolo after that. Talk about Keenan Allen and why you have him here today.
Keenan Allen, let me pull up. All right, this is courtesy of another Discordian, because we, whenever you brought the heat and brought the challenge, and I accepted, I wanted to go to the crowd, and this is from our man Tubideus, a very frequent visitor in the chat, very active. He pointed out that with Justin Herbert at QB, he's got between 10 and 19 targets every single week. And as we all know, volume is key. Vastly underpriced. He double underlined that for that level of volume. And that's basically the selling point for me. Along with that, let me see what other note I have written up here for you. Let's see here. I mean, I couldn't believe the price that they had him at.
Yes. Yeah.
Chargers.
Well, the amount of targets he's getting, like you said, between 10 and 19 targets, that's Michael Thomas level of targets. That's insane.
And not only adding to the fact that Justin Herbert is throwing him that much, Justin Herbert's QB9 over the last 2 weeks, which is really impressive considering one of those weeks was his bye week. So,
man.
I'm looking forward to seeing Keenan Allen. I almost paid. I'm pretty sure it was a little bit up for the Justin Herbert Keenan Allen stack, but I did like the matchup with the implied total better for the quarterback. That was going to be my other option for the stacking, but ultimately I did go with Ayuk and Garoppolo. And but yeah, Keenan Allen at that price, at that volume, with this trend that's been running up, last year Keenan Allen we were talking about as a wide receiver 1, no doubt, and all of a sudden, we're pairing him with Devontae Adams in DFS lineups. That's not hurting your salary cap. I don't know exactly what everybody's seeing, but I think that we're looking at a trend like returning to what we saw last year with Herbert behind center.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you a little quiz here. I think you're going to pass. Who do you think has the most completions plus 20 yards this year in the NFL? He's not on either of our teams. Who comes to mind off the top? Yeah, I'll give you a hint. He's tied with Peyton Manning at this point in Peyton Manning's epic touchdown historic season. And he's Mr. Unlimited, too.
Well, if he's unlimited, and we're talking unlimited, Russell Wilson. It would have to be Russell Wilson.
He's number one. Justin Herbert is number two. Number two in the league, downfield. 20-plus yard completions.
Pains me because I picked up Tyrod late to make it through the early bye week for Fishbowl, and then his team tried to kill him, and now we get to see Justin Herbert, which, looking back at all my dynasty drafts, I'm kicking myself. But no, I really like Justin Herbert this year, and in turn makes me love Keenan Allen even more.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Let me talk a little bit about your stack. Guess who was 8th in targets, receptions, fantasy points the last couple weeks? It's been Brandon Ayuk. He's been crushing it. He's had some top performances that maybe you didn't expect, but when he hurdled that defender on Monday Night Football, I think that was kind of his calling card. Like, hey guys, I'm here.
Guess who's back?
Guess who's back, right? And I like him. I have him on a couple teams, and I mean, I've been starting him as my wide receiver too. On one of my teams, it's a little bit RB heavy, and I didn't go, as wide receiver dominant as Pete Overzet and CD Carter would have wanted me to. Shout out to my favorite people who right now currently on Twitter. I did give them a hard time because my Michael Thomas, Chris Godwin team is 1-6, whereas my team that has Devontae Adams, which is the same kind of thing, is 6-1. So anyway, I'm not going to acknowledge that publicly, but the wide receivers we have here, great value too. I mean, I know Ayuk's priced up a little bit, but that's still 5,800 for the wide receiver one on that team. No Debo, he's out. I know Kittle's going to feast, but you got to throw the ball to more than one person. And Bourne, to me, just hasn't been the guy, and I don't think he's the playmaker that they're going to get. I love that. I went with Tyler Boyd, and my Tyler Boyd play is a lot like your play with Garoppolo. You said Garoppolo was going to have that game script where he had to kind of throw the ball. He gets more value that way. That's my thought with Tyler Boyd. His team is going to be playing Tennessee, and they have a porous defense, and Tennessee is going to be scoring points against them. They're going to have some players who go off. Maybe you and I have some of those players later in our matchups. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see next, actually. Foreshadowing, folks, if you're not a Shakespeare fan. Or if you're drunk and you just can't keep up. Shut up, I'm a big time. We have a show later tonight. Put down the sauce, buddy. Put down the sauce. Anyway, and so I feel like Tyler Boyd's going to be the run back option on that kind of, the offense for Tennessee is going to be throwing the ball a lot, running the ball a lot. They're going to be scoring. I could see a 14-7 score at the end of the quarter, and Joe Burrow is just flinging it. He is out of control. He was another guy I wanted to put in my lineup. So that's my kind of thought on Tyler Boyd. Any thoughts on Boyd? Or I talked about your matchup. What did you see in Ayuk that you wanted to get out there? Anything that you wanted to share?
Well, the main thing is this season, since he started playing, has yet to play less than 70% of offensive snaps, including 2 weeks ago, or what was it? Last week was 75, but before that, we were looking at 85% of offensive snaps, and before that, 97% of offensive snaps. Again, it's back to volume. The injury concerns, I'm not sure what they're doing with the McKinnon. Some say he was resting last week. I don't understand what's going on with that, but
tired legs. They said tired. I mean,
yeah. Well, call me brain tired from putting him in my starting lineup and not doing anything for me. But whenever you're rolling out a team with your wide receivers being Brandon Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, Taylor and Pettis, who, I mean, Trent Taylor, give me a break. I'm worried about Kittle. I'm worried about any short yardage, dump off, BS plays. Otherwise, all the big stuff's going to Ayuk, and they've got nobody else. So,
yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret at the end about your lineup, but I'll wait and hold it. But I really do like that play a lot. It's something it's all the guests find out, but don't worry, it's not something bad. Let's go down to our tight end position here. We both have Jonnu Smith. I talked about a little foreshadowing. What do you like in Jonnu this week?
bounce back game. Non-factor week 7. We talked about in the AMAs this week. Let's see here. I actually have an exact note about it. I've been asking guests. The Bengals have allowed the third most fantasy points at the tight end position this season. I mean, that's great sign. Jonnu, I'll be honest, I was a complete Jonnu non-believer at the beginning of the season. Would have said it day after day. You know, last year or the year before, when Delaney Walker would go down, occasionally we'd see flashes of Jonnu, but when Delaney was like done, Jonnu wasn't anything special. And so entering the season, I was not buying any stocks of him unless he like fell ridiculously low. But at this point, his talent's pretty undeniable. I think that defenses are not necessarily starting to learn how to scheme out Derrick Henry and their other threats, but Jonnu, very athletic, versatile, and again, he does a lot for their offense, not just, you know, in the fantasy realm. So getting him on the field more like that provides a lot more opportunities. I think, you know, again, it's more of a chalk play again, but yeah, bounce back game sums it up.
Yeah, and at 4,100 too, he is averaging the 4th most points out of tight ends. He had a couple of tough weeks. One, by the way, in week 6, he got hurt, so he was out all of that game. And then Fursker had a mazillion points. He had 28 points, 2 touchdowns. So, you know, the value is there for the position in that offense. And so I do really like the play. I went with it as well. We both saw that 4,100 and the opportunity for him to really 4 or 5 times max that. I mean, he gets 20 points. He's 5 maxing. You want that. And so, yeah, chalk, but in GPP, maybe not what you want to do. Maybe you want to pay down for someone else, but I really like it. We don't have a lot of money left, by the way. You know, I've been keeping track. We both have $100, but besides that, we don't have a lot. I'm interested to see this last pick because this is the gamble. This is so far we're pretty even. I like your stack a lot. Mine is a little bit more risky, but let's see where we went here.
I'm embarrassed.
No, I actually really like your play a lot. Talk about Denzel Mims. We have no Crowder. You know, we have no Frank Gore. We have no Chris Herndon. I'm sorry. Chris Herndon is playing, but like I said, we have no Chris Herndon. What do you think about, you know, your guy Denzel Mims coming back, getting those touches, those targets this week?
Like you said, lots of injuries. I wish that Gase was injured from coaching, but unfortunately that's not the case. So we're still going to deal with that.
I got to interrupt you real quick. You this is your first time you say ever, you know, being on a podcast or showing your face and being out there. You're crushing it, man. Your jokes, you know, though delivered in a very just matter of fact manner, they're hilarious. And that Adam Gase one, that should be a tweet. Like that should literally, we got to go, like somebody listening or one of us, we got to tweet that out because you're crushing it, my guy. I just want to give you some feedback in this podcast and let you know, you're seasoned. You're already in. You're doing great.
Appreciate it. Confidence boosted. All right, there we go. But Denzel Mims. Not sure if you're aware of this. The Jets this year have run 2 goal line plays, while every other team has at least 5 times that. Literally every single other team in the NFL has 5 times more goal line plays than the Jets do. So if they're not scoring at the goal line, they're scoring through the air, or at least from a distance. And are you going to run Perrine out there? Is that what you're going to do? I mean, Gase might. I would put it past him. But it's just Denzel Mims, he looked like a great value pick with such a low price point, and I'm banking on the injuries. I hope they don't happen. The worst case scenario, I hope that, Crowder and Gore get a serious case of the runs right before the game and they can't suit up when we're good afterwards, after maybe an IV or so. But Denzel Mims, it's going to be a risky play, but Darnold, I've got such mixed emotions about the man. And I think that if I'm going to be throwing a dart, it's going to be one where they're going to have to be throwing to keep up if they want to score some points, which, they might not want to score points at this point in the season. We haven't seen it yet, but if they did, in fact, want to start doing that, Denzel Mims would be a great time for them to sling him the ball. But it's a risky play. One note that my fellow Discordian did give me, and I'm going to make sure I say this. Basically the same thing. Every lineup needs a bargain buy, and they're going to see negative game script. Mims only healthy starting receiver. Not a great lineup, but just 3,200. All he needs is one effective reception, and the Jets have, and he'll make that value there. Give me a catch and run and $3,200. I'll call it a wrap.
You know what? I think you catch 10 points, 12 points. You 4 maxed out on that, and it's a really good bargain value. Let me talk about my bargain value, and that's Harrison Bryant. And you might say I'm points chasing, and I might be, but I'm also reputation chasing, because last week on my friend Chase Vernon, he's FF_intervention over there. You can join his circle. I love his circle. On his DFS show last Friday, I called out Harrison Bryant. I said, that's the guy you want to own on a cheap slate. And guess what? I didn't even take my own advice. So I got talked out of it by Chase. He kind of, made me think, second guess myself. And so I'm not doing it anymore. That guy is a move tight end. It's going to be a windstorm. You're not going to be throwing 40, 50 yards downfield. I know my guy Bo keeps discounting weather. Hey, Bo, I love you, buddy. You live in California. You see rain once or twice a year. I live in Maryland. I see the seasons every single day. I go through a different season. Like this morning, I woke up and it was like 30 fucking degrees. And then by the time it got middle day, it was like 50 degrees. Beautiful outside. I was laying in the hammock and shit. And then by the end of the day, 12 fucking degrees. So, come on. Where are you at, by the way, Mr. Space Ghost? Are you just floating around in the nether space?
I'm here and there. Midwest vibe, somewhere between St. Louis and Atlanta.
That sounds like a nice, comfortable place to be. Hopefully, it's not riots and upheaval in your state right now.
It is not. We're handling the COVID, by the way. Shout out to everybody wearing a mask, by the way, because you got common sense. So appreciate y'all. Want to make sure that that's known. Working in the pharmacy, I see far too many fools that aren't wearing masks, and it hurts me to my soul. But nothing too crazy here. Although, it's a little crazy everywhere. So not to get too deep into it, but not in a bad spot though.
No, that's good. That's good. And for me, I am grateful that I live in a spot where people are civil. Mostly people are wearing masks. People are respectful. I like my neighbors. I live in a townhouse area. Good people. There's a party going on right outside my window right now. You can't even hear them. Just chilling. They're back. They got a cauldron. They got music. They got beer. God bless them. I love them. They're my neighbors. So
you gonna join them after this?
Because of London situation, I can't even be around anybody right now. It's not even COVID, it's any germ. So if you don't know, my daughter has leukemia and she is fighting that battle. She's had it since last summer, 2019. In July, we first started seeing the appearance of it. Now it's almost been a year and a half, and she's alive, she's well, she's doing healthy. They don't check to see where the cancer's at, but when they did last check, it was next to nothing. And she's been going through the treatment since then. And so, the expectation is if you're receiving all of this terrible chemo poison, it is killing the nothing that's left. So really they think that most times they kill the cancer in the beginning, but then it grows back. And so this is kind of the carpet bombing afterwards, if you want to kind of give a visual reference. You kill it with the intravenous chemo in the first couple stages, and then after that, after about 8, 9, 10 months, you go into something just called maintenance, and that's where you don't get intravenous chemo. You get So anyway, long story short, I would love to join that party, but this is my third beer during this, and we're 41 minutes in, so I'm making my own party, and I'm having a great time with you, my guy. I got to tell you. The Space Ghost Force reached out to me a couple months ago and just said, hey, would you like to come on the AMA? Would you like to get in the chat? Would you like to let people, get to interact with you and meet you? And I was honored. Like it really was an honor. I was grateful every single appearance I've been on with any show or anybody's asked me to be on, because last year at this time, I did not have that. I was not doing that. I was a fan. I had 300 followers, 400 followers, and I was a fan. And about a year ago, I broke. I was in a position of educational leadership where I was working 80 hours a week. I was in classrooms every day, watching students, observing teachers, and then I was writing all night, and I was working too much. And on one Friday night, I just broke, and I just started writing fantasy football. I did DFS, I bought a website. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm changing my worldview, baby. And I just jumped in, and I haven't shaved my beard since then. And Scott Simpson was born in reality. And, ever since then, it's just been a great time to get to know everybody, somebody like yourself, shout out. This is cool. Like I win, lose or draw. This is a win for me because I get to, make a friend, which we already have a friendship, but like a face-to-face friendship. And then we get to play for money. And just on Sunday, we'll be talking back and forth. We'll be like, oh, shit, damn it.
Well, I mean, I'll be playing. You'll have a team on the field, but I'll be playing. But
right.
You'll just have a lineup on. But
I'll just be like handing my money over. And speaking about handing money over, we got the Packers going up against Minnesota, and last time it was terrible. And then the Titans going up against Cincinnati, a team that even though they have a young quarterback, they have turned the ball over, and they've got no Joe Mixon, which does kind of handicap them. Talk about the Titans as you're rounding out your team.
The weather forecast down in the Titan game isn't the greatest. Could get a little sloppy on the field, and they're mid-price for one. Not necessarily like paying that. I didn't want to. Occasionally, I'll do the dart throw at the very bottom and hope that somebody grabs the ball a few times. But since he's been giving up sacks and turnovers at like not a great rate for a team to be doing that. And the Titans definitely aren't a star, plug and play. I can rely on this, but I'm playing you. I've got confidence in the Titans. And if Jonnu plays well, the Titans are going to get more opportunities to get on the field and vice versa. I mean, it's not a kicker. It's not a kicker defense stack, but it is a stack indeed.
Well, I like what you're doing here. This is what you've done, and this is just what smart people do, guys. I love smart people. This is how I think the world should work, and this is what you've done in Discord. Is you've created a platform and an opportunity for you to kind of hive mind, topics. You throw it out there. You've got a group of people who are already ready to process it and think out, and that's what kind of Twitter is for me. And honestly, I got Bo McBigtime, who's calling you out in the chat, by the way. He said, shout out to the guy in first place in the PSUDL 5.0. I think that might be directed at you because I don't know what the hell that is.
No, I'm firmly in the tank category in that. He knows all about that.
Oh, he's giving you business.
Bo's been trying to get some of my players while I'm fire selling them. So,
well, I mean, respect is respect. You do what I do with Bo. You sharpen your sword in the battle, and I like what it's brought you, and it's really cool to see your process and what you've gone through to build this lineup. Mine is not as sharp as yours because you have the Titans playing off Jonnu. I don't have the Titans playing off Jonnu, but I was a little sneaky here. I didn't know you were going to do Devontae Adams, but what I do is I have a playoff of your wide receiver. So the Packers D, if Devontae Adams is going downtown, which I think he might eat some points, the Vikings might have to try to go downtown too. And there's this guy on the Vikings, and I'll let you look him up. I think his name is Alex. I don't know. I can't read it right, but you should look him up because he's been shutting down people like Calvin Ridley, Mike Evans, Jesus, whatever. Any wide receiver that's going to come across his path. And so he's going to be playing in this game against Adam Thielen probably, or if he gets put up on whoever he gets put on, he's going to be kind of locking them down. And his name's Jair Alexander. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know I love the defense. I love the defense. So
we know all about Jair Alexander, and that was actually one of my questions to Travis last night on his AMA with going on about that. Let me find that because I'm going to ask you the same thing real quick. Let's see, because I worded it really well, and I don't want to do that again. All right, here we go. You got never mind. I lost it. Go ahead. Move along.
No. I was just humoring the chat. We've had some friends join us. Bowman Big Time throwing shade at your defense. He just said Burrow going to drop 50 burger on the Titans. Bo, that's a bit much. I think you've been eating some hamburgers.
Here we go. Not to cut you off.
No, please, anytime, sir.
The thing about Justin Jefferson, he didn't start the last time those teams met. So I'm assuming that he'll be on my man Adam Thielen, and I don't know who the second in command that would be covering JJ, but good luck to them is what I say, because as of late, he's looked great. I actually just traded for him in one league. People say that it was highway robbery, but too bad, so sad for that guy, I guess. And
in your face, have taste, you don't get your money back.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the fact that they didn't get to see JJ the first time around, it should be pretty interesting to see what happens this game.
So here is what Rotoballer is predicting, is that they're going to have Jackson on Thielen and Mr. Alexander might be on Jefferson. I don't know if that's going to be the case. That's the only – I'm not – this is not me. I can share this actually. This is a tool that I actually use every single week when I am playing and planning my myself. Rotoballer is just a site. I don't pay for their subscription or anything like that, but see if I can move this into my other website. There we go. So they have, if you look here at, and let me actually go to the website. So I do this for a living every day. I'm on Zoom managing so many websites, so many different things I got to do, calling kids, pushing things. It is a chore. Let me tell you that. I get done, my fingers hurt. I've been talking the whole time. This is so much better because not only are you making me laugh hysterically, not at you, but with you and at what you're saying, but it's not that hard to manage. And so I'm kind of grateful for, just kind of learning the ropes. But, I don't know. If you look here, I'm pointing out where they have, where it's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be on him or not. So they have Jackson here on Thielen and they have Alexander on Jefferson. I don't know if that's going to be the breakdown. I don't know if he's going to travel with him or if he's going to play his side of the field, but it's going to be interesting to watch out for in that game for sure. I think either way, Kirk Cousins, he could throw 3 pickles. He could do that, and so I'm hoping just for a defensive touchdown. Just give me one, and then it shoots. So, but anyway, well, I got to tell you, I loved having you on. This has been awesome. You told me this was your first appearance. You crushed it. I think you did way better on your first video appearance than I did on my first Discord appearance. So advantage you in that. Advantage you, I think, in this. And I think the reason you have the advantage is Davante Adams. That is where I think it's just you've got 6-7 points on me. Bo says no matter who your lineup is, you're -7, Scott. You suck. He called me a -40 points or something to Michael Reedy. I lost by 15, 13, something 14. So I think this is a -5, 6 to you because of Davante Adams. And if he goes off, it could just be a game changer. You can see what he does. He gets 45 points. So I love it. This is great. Thank you for coming on. Let me real quick before we get out of here. Let me have real quick. Tell us where people can find you, what you're doing. If they're just jumping on now, they didn't hear in the beginning. Let them know where you're to be found.
Well, before that, can we do this this week? The money's on the table.
Yes,
whoever wins throws it at you give me a good leukemia research charity. We'll throw the money at that. How about that?
That'd be outstanding. And how about this? Well, whoever wins, whatever it is, for me, if I win or you win, I'll double it myself too. So if you win and you get the 40, I'll also throw 40 on to whatever it is, PayPal, whatever, however we're gonna figure it out. I think it's a great cause. In Maryland, there is a Maryland chapter of the national chapter of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and they support families. There's also an organization called Hope for Henry, and it's an amazing story of a lady who about 20 years ago lost her son, Henry, to leukemia. And he would have been 25 years old this past week. We celebrated his 25th birthday. But this lady didn't just wallow in that terrible tragedy, which understandably so. You get a free pass. If something like that happens to you, which it could happen to us, you go, whatever, man. You're not going to hold them to a high standard of like you need to output. But she's outputted, and she's created a whole foundation that gives money or uses money to buy toys for kids and buy experiences for kids. And they go into hospitals, and they have carts that come around. They give kids prizes every week. They've got something called Henry Bucks, where you're giving your kid money every time they go to appointments or you do different things. And it really incentivizes all of these terrible experiences. So, my family just gives to that. Like, even though we're recipients of it, we give to that. So yeah, there's a bunch of great things out there that we can give to. And then if in your place too, where you live too, if you win, I want to donate to the families and the people in your area who need support and who are going through it too. That's what you find out when you get into these communities, is that there are people suffering everywhere, across the globe, across the states. And so, you let me know if you win, where we can donate in your area. And I think that's an outstanding idea, my guy. I love it.
Excellent. But yeah, we'll talk after this. I'll post the link for the donation link in the Discord as well. Last time for the Fishbowl, as a matter of fact, we actually raised $3,600 in the Discord for Blessings in the Backpack for children with that might not have the ability to eat or have the means to eat over the weekend. They send backpacks full of food home with them over the weekend. So we'll put the link up in the chat as well and see what we can do on that front. But everybody should be in the Discord. If you're on Twitter, you should be in the Discord, because we're doing exactly what you guys want to do, except we're doing it in real time and you're having conversations rather than having to wait. And we're better than a Reddit because it's not a voting system. Everybody comes in, you earn like different colors. I mean, it's you come in, you won't have a bad time. You won't have a bad time unless you come in saying that Kalen Ballage is your RB1. Otherwise, you could probably stay out. But
don't you dare. If there's any
you mean Mr. Duck at the ball whenever he's thrown his way, Kalen Ballage, or are we talking try to hurdle a man and get spiked, Kalen Ballage?
I was going to say jumping into arms of a attacker. That's what I love to do.
Arms of an angel is more like it.
Man, when he did that, I was like, good. That's what you get. Yeah,
that's exactly what you get.
I played high school football. Let me tell you what they like to do to fat guys in high school football. They like to put him out in this drill. It's not the Oklahoma drill. I don't know what the name of the drill is, but they line up you, and then there is 3 guys, and then there's like 5 yards. You got to get by them for a touchdown, and it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was probably 260, 70 pounds in high school. I'm 230 now. I've been 330. So it's been a range of life. I'm not satisfied with myself right now.
You look good. You look good.
I'm going to send you a picture of what I looked like last year at the summer at the Scott Fish 9 in my new Scott Fish 9, blue shirt, the XL. I look sexy as hell. I got 2 XLs of that. And I got all the new stuff is all XL, double X, whatever it is, two double X. Whatever. Long story short, you're damn it, I forgot my point. I just got my brain just died. What was I saying?
We were wrapping up the show. We were talking about the Discord, and
so here's the thing. When I went on Discord, one thing I loved about Discord was it was immediately interactive. So like you said, if you want to interact with people immediately and talk about fantasy football and get in the weeds, which is, dude, that's what I love. That's what I'm about. Do that. Get in there. Accept that invite. It's right there on, my guy, his page. Go to, I have it up on my page right now, the Space Ghost Force, and you can click it and get there. Appreciate you guys. This has been a great time, my guy, and I can't wait to see what happens. We're going to talk a little bit of shit over the Sunday. Not too much. We're not going to be abrasive, but we'll, touchdowns will come and go. Oh, damn.
I can't promise I won't make you cry, but I'll do my best.
No, I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. You can find me, Scott Simpson, at Nimble W Numbers. It's Nimble with numbers, but they can't fit with on Twitter because they don't have a character limit. It sucks, whatever. And you can also find me at thefantasymillionaires.com, which is also FF Millionaires because there's character limit there. And you can check out my guy, Bo_McBigtime. He's awesome on Twitter. He's also awesome on my website, Nimble W Numbers. He is my Bo Knows Fantasy, and he is the man. I use some of his picks against you today. So if I win, it's not totally me, man. The hive mind is, I got my guy too. So I put the Bo up against the Discord, and we're going to see how it turns out. So appreciate you guys. Yeah, you're awesome. Appreciate you coming on. And by the way, at the end of the year, we're going to do a wrap-up, tournament. Not that there's going to be a big show. Maybe there will be a big show. Maybe it's too much to put everybody on at the end of the year, but we're going to do a tournament, maybe $10 or something on DraftKings that has all the people I've gone through all 20 weeks because we're going to the Super Bowl, and we'll see who can kind of come home with that big prize at the end. I hope you can join us for that at the end. This has been great. Thank you, sir, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me, and, I'll see you in the Discord, if not on Twitter, and I can't wait to take your money tomorrow and hand it over to a great cause.
I love it. I know. And you know what? I love how Discord is going to help give that cause a little boost too. So whoever wins, we're helping other people. I think that's the real goal of all of this, is to think of other people who maybe are in different straits than you. And I think that's what, is missing in our country right now. It's the perspective of other. It is not looking to your own interests, but looking to the interests of others and the needs of others. And so I love that you brought that up. And it's such a great kind of just reminder of other people's struggles and needs and how we can be there and help them in their time of need. So you're awesome, man. This is great. You're not a veteran or not a rookie anymore. You're a vet now, man. You went through a Nimble W Numbers, podcast extravaganza, a beer fest. I mean, you crushed it. I'm telling everybody, if you want a great guest, go get the Space Ghost Force. He's going to come through, man. You're the man. Appreciate it very much.
We'll see you next time, Scott. Appreciate you.
All right. See you guys.